Good morning, Celtic fans, and welcome back to the channel. Make sure you hit the big thumbs up for the video, as it does help with the algorithm. So, on to this morning's Celtic news. Celtic have obviously been relentless over the last couple of years when it comes to winning trophies and making signings, and it has been a bit of a funny window, this one, with fans. We had a poll last night. There was about 87% of fans thought the board were sleeping at the wheel when it came to transfer signings this summer. So let's talk about signings that could possibly still happen before the end of the window. I reckon there's at least 6 possible targets, and it's typical Celtic. They have this morning been linked with a player, and it's got to say that he's another winger. But is he a downgrade from Daniel Podence? We'll talk about him in just a minute. We have made a 3.5 million bid, seemingly, for the guy Palma. He's netted 11 goals in 29 league appearances, making him one of the top goal scorers in Greece. But let's talk about the 6 possible recruits that Brendan Rodgers could still bring in before the end of the current window. So obviously we're going to talk about the big one, the big signing that would set the heather alive, as they say. Daniel Podence. It's been suggested that Celtic were close to making an offer close to 10 million. Not a chance. Not a chance. Celtic may not fancy paying that much, but they plan to try and negotiate it down. We'll talk about another winger in just a minute that Celtic are more likely to have put an offer in for, and it's only 3.5 million. So it tells you everything that you need to know about the Celtic board as it stands. The next player they want to talk about is Javier Mumbabe. As a defender, you know, Carl Starfelt is gone, Rocky is picking up an injury, Cameron Carter-Vickers has got an injury, and Stephen Welsh has got an injury also. So it could be the fact that we could still make a move for Javier in the next week, in the next 7 days. Then there's the striker that's coming in at £4 million from Brøndby, Matthias. He's only 21-year-old. He's certainly got that sell-on aspect to him. He's definitely got that age where we buy in a player, make him good and sell him on. Something that we do really well at Celtic. And then there's the big one that people have been talking about, Kieran Tierney. Could Kieran Tierney get a loan move back to Celtic? It's looking like he might go to Spain, but there's about 4 or 5 days. I think Kieran Tierney will be a final day transfer move if he moves at all. Arsenal believe to want a permanent transfer. Rodgers has ruled out. There's no chance that we're going to spend that kind of money to bring Kieran Tierney back to the club. Another winger that's been spoken about is Paddy Roberts. Paddy Roberts obviously had success with Celtic before. It'd be an interesting one for Paddy Roberts. He's a proven goal scorer. You know, he did well when he was at Celtic before. But it's another winger, and do we really need another winger? That's 3 different wingers that we've been linked with going into the end of the window. And 2 defenders. Lewis Palma is one that we've been linked with today. It's suggested that Celtic have made a £3.5 million offer for the player, and he looks a bit of a player. And he, like I said before, he did score 11 goals in 29 league appearances last season. So would that be enough to get him in the door? Would be 3.5 million. Well, you've got Daniel Podence, who's going to cost around about 10 million, or typical Celtic, we'll go for somebody at 3.5 million. Anyway, tell me your thoughts in the comments about that one. Celtic have seemingly lodged an offer 4.1 million euros for Lewis Palmer. I'm just reading just now, and it looks like it's an offer that is around where the club are looking for. As soon as any news is being picked up, there will be another. It's one of those things. The Celtic transfers, it goes kind of quiet, and then they're all going to come in at once. I do think there will be at least a minimum of 4 players come in this week. We need cover for defence. It's as simple as that. We really need cover for the defence. Tell me what you think about. And it's also been suggested that Celtic might still be looking at the goalkeeping situation, but it is dependent on one goalkeeper going out. The only goalkeeper that's going to go out would be Benji Siegrist. Is it an injustice that Benji Siegrist is the one that's going to have to be made to move on? Because I personally think it is. I think Benji's obviously got a bit more to offer Celtic than what he has already shown. I think he's a better keeper than Scott Bain, for one. But you never know. Scott Bain's got that new contract, so that's keeping him in at Celtic purely for the Scottish contingent for the European quota, which does mean, and I mean, by all accounts, Benji is happy at Celtic. So why would you want to move? You know, he is third choice keeper. There are other players that are at the club that need to be moved on. Albion Ajeti. James McCarthy is another one that needs to be moved on. But they have to come to an agreement with Celtic about the financial payoffs. It's as simple as that. You know, Celtic need to pay off their contracts for them to move on as a free agent. Is there a chance that might happen with McCarthy? It has been suggested so. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background at Celtic FC that we don't know about, and this will continue over the next week. It'll be interesting to see what happens on deadline day. Will we wait till deadline day, or will Celtic make a move for players this weekend? Because let's face it, it's not long now until the end of the transfer window. It is next week. It's just days away now, and Celtic are no further forward when it comes to getting in replacements. And let's face it, we've been linked with this Honduras playmaker who's only 23-year-old that did score the 11 goals, but he's also been linked with a move to Saudi, and there's absolutely not a chance that Celtic are going to compete with the Saudis if they come calling. If they make an offer for him, he is off to Saudi. It is simple as that. Doesn't matter how good our offer is, they will offer 10 times more in the way of a wage than what Celtic could ever offer. So tell me your thoughts in the comments about Lewis Palmer. Tell me what you think about him. Is he the type of player that we could get in? I don't know. It all depends on too many factors. Like I said, at 3.5 million, Celtic have lodged that offer in pounds. It'll be interesting to see if they take the bite. We have lost Carl Starfelt. We have lost Jota. You know, we have lost Aaron Moy just this summer. Never mind the players that we lost at Christmas time. We do need more players and more quality. And let's wait to the end of the window. We'll talk about it even more then. And we'll talk about it on Friday night. This Friday night, we'll talk about the game this weekend also. So make sure you subscribe to the channel to get that notification when it comes through that we're going live on the Friday night. So on that note, have a great day, Celtic fans all around the world.
Lit. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to